today, again, very great that we have Susanna and Xavia going to share their online teaching experience. They've been joining the online course development program, working with the instructional designers throughout 12 weeks and getting their online course developed. So they did create something we thought is very innovative, very unique, and I think the younger generation of students really can connect to. So I will let them share their secrets of their course design. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hi you all. I promise you there are no secrets. I'm going to be upfront about everything that I know, and we'll make sure to leave enough time at the end so that if you come up with any questions, I want you to feel more than comfortable asking, okay? So I'll do a quick introduction. I don't know many of you. My name is Xavia Harrington. In the English department, in my mother's head, it's pronounced Xavia. So if you ever hear Xavia, that's me too. I'm originally from South Carolina. Did my undergraduate studies there in English education. I went on to Auburn University in Alabama, where I majored in English composition and rhetoric and technical and professional communications. Here at the university, I teach everything from developmental composition to Comp 1, Comp 2, technical writing, and gender studies. And if you ask me which one was my favorite, I really couldn't tell you. I really am an English nerd, but I do really enjoy teaching gender studies. It's a passion of mine. I went through the OCDP program for the first time when there was no stipend attached to it, and I did it again because I'm a nerd and I was really interested in what I didn't know. And I found myself really intrigued with the methods and the tools for engaging students. And then the second time I went through the OCDP program, notice not the first time, but the second time. The second time the stipend was attached, but this time I wanted to develop my skills that I'd learned and just become a better practitioner in a way. This will be my third time going through the OCDP program, but this time I'm updating a different course altogether. So I'm not doing gender studies, I'm not doing English course, I'm gonna revise a course that's normally a 16-week course, and I'm gonna have to cut it down to 7.5 weeks. And that for me is going to be a challenge, so I'm very excited to get in with the instructional designers, Megan, and really make it better, but shorter. If you know nothing about me, the one thing I would say to take away from me and how I design my physical classes and my online classes is that I'm all about usability. I only care about whether my students get the most from it, and in distance education, we joked about this summer, it might feel like a lot of work, because it is. It takes a lot of preparation, but it's what's best for the student. And if it's what's best for the student, I have to remind myself why I'm here. Why do I spend tons of time developing these Blackboard course sites? Why do I spend all this time making YouTube videos? It's not because Xavia needs it, it's because my millennial students are used to YouTube, right? They're used to postings, they're used to watching videos, they're used to responding to one another. So when you put them in an online setting where you take that sense of community away from them, it becomes very isolating. So this summer I was speaking to the OCDP program, and I told them that an online course doesn't have to be so isolating. It doesn't have to feel so lonely. You can provide students with the same sort of community and interaction that you have in the physical classroom, but you first have to become more comfortable with that. So I want to show you my course, and then I will show you the tools that I use like YouTube and Voicethread to sort of keep that community going. So the title of our presentation today is Bridging the Gap, literally bridging the gap between accessibility and communication, from what students would have in a physical classroom with me to the online classroom. So if you notice here, I have my distance education course. At the very top, I have my contact information. I know some of you are saying, why would you put that there? It should be on the syllabus. It is on the syllabus, and it's in probably 5 other places too, but it's really important for students to have that when they first enter the course site, right? Being able to decipher this site from another site. Notice I have my little funky banner there. I didn't take that picture, I promise. As I scroll down, I say start here. This is where you should start in our course. So students receive an email from me on the Sunday before the first week of school, and it says, hey, go to the Start Here tab and follow your way down. They have an introduction to the course. It's in the form of a YouTube video, and I'll play a few seconds of it for you. Notice what I'm doing here with accessibility. If there's a student that clicks into this and they can't view this video for whatever reason, maybe their browser isn't updated or they just can't view the video, they can click that and it will take them directly to YouTube. Now remember, in terms of accessibility, my job as the professor is to provide every student with the opportunity to learn. So if I have a student that might be hard of hearing, that might need closed captioning, YouTube does that for me. I don't have to go back and sort of provide my own commentary on my discussion, right? So another reason why I love YouTube. As I scroll down, you'll notice that I've provided students with the syllabus and the calendar the very first week of school. Again, it's a distance education course, and I understand that, but I do make my expectations for time management clear during the first week. So students know when every assignment is due, when every journal entry is due, and we'll talk about that in just a second. They also know when to sort of expect more feedback in the upcoming weeks. Step 3 is to join our Voicethread group. Laura and I came up with a great set of instructions for how students go about joining it, and I plucked that here. And then step 4 is instructions for how to submit or comment on Voicethread. Again, assuming that my millennial students are very comfortable with technology, but Voicethread might be something entirely new. So now that I'm done with that, I'll show you briefly my YouTube site, and then I will show you the gender introduction. So remember, I told you that for all of my courses, especially in the distance education setting, I provide an introduction video. It's a great way for students to see my face so that if they are on campus, they know me in passing, they can stop and ask questions. It also, you would probably be shocked, it's a great motivator for students to knock on the office door and ask questions when they know your face and they feel more comfortable with your personality. I tell students all the time, I do a lot of tidbits and sort of spur the moment discussions in class, something that, you know, a student might say something that makes me think about a great teachable moment. I don't necessarily have the opportunity to do that in the distance education course because students' responsibility to read and to ask questions is really autonomous. I really put a lot of that responsibility on their shoulders. But in this way, I can record a 4-minute introduction, a 5-minute introduction to the course, and I can say what I just said to you all. Hi you guys, I'm Xavia Harrington. I'm originally from South Carolina. If you can't tell by my accent, I'm not from Evansville, right? And to them that's funny because they go, yeah, I can tell. So we get to have those conversations, the same sort of conversation I would have had in the physical classroom on the first day of school. I can say that in about 8 minutes on YouTube. I'll show you quickly all of the videos that I have, and then I'll show you that one. Now remember, I've only been at USI for three years, but before this I taught at 2 other institutions, one in Kentucky and of course Auburn in Alabama. Every time I transition to a new institution, I create a new YouTube profile or page. Remember, this can be as private as you like for it to be. So you're looking at about 50 videos that I have tapped from my time teaching here at USI. So if this looks like a lot to you, remember all of them are not, 15-minute lectures. I'm talking, some of them are checkup videos where I'm saying, hey you guys, don't forget this week we're doing midterm conferences. Check Blackboard and email me if you have questions. See ya. And it takes all of 2 minutes to do. But it's a great reminder for students that don't have that responsibility of seeing me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They get a quick reminder on Sunday as to what my expectations are for that week, and they have the entire week to accomplish those tasks. So again, I'll just scroll down so that you can see. I have gone back and deleted some. It's taken up a little bit too much space. But for the most part, I think I have about 50 here for you to see. I'll take you back to our gender studies course. I'll play a few seconds of this, and then I'll take you to Voicethread and how I utilize Voicethread. Instructor for this distance education course. I wanted to provide you with an introduction to the course, but also to me and sort of how things will go during the duration of this semester. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. Okay, so again, I'm Professor Harrington. Most students call me Professor H or Miss H. And here at USI, I teach primarily composition, technical writing, literature, but I also teach gender studies. Gender studies is something that's extremely important to me. I'm very passionate about it. I was a double major in undergrad. I was a double major in English and education, but I also minored in interdisciplinary studies. Specifically, gender studies was the course that I took a lot of that and a lot of issues in terms of race relations and things like that, so race studies, activism, things like that. But it's always been something that's extremely interesting to me from all of those 50 years ago when I was a college student. I wanted to sort of introduce myself to you so that you would know the person that would be speaking with you on a weekly basis. As this course goes on, you will get a weekly update from me every Sunday, sort of reminding you of what you should be doing for the upcoming week. A lot of my students love that I do that because it keeps them accountable and responsible because they'll have their calendar. They'll be able to sort of go through their calendar and write down dates into an agenda or maybe put their dates into their phone so that they remember when due dates are coming up or approaching. But they like the friendly reminders of the weekly updates on Sundays because it reminds them, okay, for the next 5 days, I should be working on this thing. okay, Ms. H is going to send me a weekly update on Sunday that's going to tell me for the next few days, this is what you should be focusing your attention on. It really helps those students that have never taken a distance education course before, maybe those students that think all the stereotypes about distance education are true. They don't think they're going to have to do tons of work. They don't think they're going to have to sort of be self-motivated. I can't stress to you enough, those things are not true. You have to be self-motivated to take a distance education course because simply you're not meeting with me 3 times a week for an hour or an hour and 15 minutes. There is no Monday, Wednesday, Friday class for us to meet from 9 until 9:50 to talk about all the little things that we have to get done in a 16-week semester. In this class, you have all of the expectations of my physical classes, but you don't have the physical meetings. That is literally the only difference. And I know that's hard to sort of think about at the moment, but you have all of the expectations of a physical gender studies class. You're going to be doing all of the cool activities in terms of asking a stranger a question, responding to that question, responding to your classmates, having discussion with me, doing the popular culture readings that we do in this class, taking the quizzes that we do in this class to test your understanding, writing the annotated bibliography towards the end of the semester, and then writing the short activism paper at the end of the semester as well. All of those things are still your responsibility, but you don't get that physical in-classroom time to sort of discuss and talk to me about them. So, now as you see, I've provided a 7-minute introduction to the course. It's literally the same thing that you would tell a student if they were coming in to see you the very first week of the semester, right? You're warning them about the pitfalls, the things that could happen. All I'm doing is I'm making that more contextualized inside of the distance education setting, right? So I'm explaining to them the things that you might have heard about what this class is going to be like is not, necessarily accurate. If you expect this to just be a place where you can just sort of read and work at your own pace, a lot of that is true, but I do have due dates for you, right? And I mentioned the calendar. You have a calendar. I will send you updates on Sundays that will help to keep you accountable. So what I'm really doing here is I'm introducing them to literally what I look like, where my office is. Toward the end, I say, welcome to my crib, and I show them around my office, and I take them outside of the door and show them this is how you get to my office in the OR. And to them, that's important. As you come in with questions, you don't want to have to email me every time and ask, where's your office located again? How do I get to you? So I do, in every class, take 5 to 8 minutes. I really cut myself down. Remember, I'm an English person, so I can talk for days. I really have to sort of edit myself down to under 8, no more than 8, at least 5 minutes of an introduction. And for the most part, students really enjoy it. It gives them the basics of my expectations. Not reviewing the syllabus, right? Not reading word for word. They can read. I tell them, this is what I expect from you. You will find more about this when you review the syllabus, okay? I'll take you now to some of my weekly assignments, and this is where you'll get to see how I infuse Voicethread. So notice, I told you distance education courses require a lot of preparation ahead of time, and my personality is very type A and OCD in its nature, so I prefer to have the entire course mapped out before I start teaching. I don't have the sort of life where I can wait until the Monday before class and go in and say, okay guys, this is what we're doing. I am a PhD student. I try to be a good daughter when I can be, and I try to be a strong professor, and I can't do all of those things if I'm doing it last minute. So you will notice here that my OCD has kicked in. I have every week set up and assigned. The ones that you don't see highlighted with the yellow folder are ghosted, meaning that students cannot see them, but I can work at my leisure, right? So I have literally taken the time to work all the way to final exams, and I'll put Homer here just to let them know the end is near, you guys. We're there. We've touched it. We're at the end. But notice these things are ghosted. Students cannot view them, but I'm able to work at my leisure as they're working. One thing that I will tell you is that I do always go in a few days early, and I open up the next week for students that are working ahead of time. That's really important for students that might have non-traditional circumstances where they might be raising a family, have several jobs. As you know, a lot of our students work several jobs. So it's important to them to be able to work ahead if they've already caught up with this week's work. I'll take you into week 1 and see if I can give you an understanding of how I set this up. Probably should have shown you that text. My apologies. Notice the text that I have under every week. It's just like a guiding question for students. It's the same thing that you would do in a physical classroom. All right, you guys, this is what we're doing today, right? All I'm doing is I'm making it more of a rhetorical question. How do I become introduced to the course and to my professor? right? So under this week, you would expect to find more information about gender studies and me. Under week 2, how many genders are there really? And how do I learn the differences, right? Getting more into vocabulary. And that sort of guiding text works all the way through the end of the semester. Now I'll take you into week 1 and give you an understanding of how I use things. Remember I told you I send weekly updates on Sunday. They can be as short as a minute, as long as 5. I never go over 5 minutes for a weekly update. Remember, all I'm doing is reminding them of what the calendar already says, but I'm adding tips and hints in terms of my expectations for that week, okay? This weekly update is 3 minutes long, 3 minutes and 37 seconds long. It's the first week, so I think I was a little bit verbose. You know, hi you guys, welcome, yeah, we're gonna get started. And then I went on to explaining what was due that week. Thing that I love to do, remember I'm all about usability, not necessarily how long it takes me to get it done, but what's best for the students. Notice I've literally copied and pasted what's found on the calendar under week 1 right here under week 1 again. So if you're asking yourself, isn't that a little bit of overkill? Can't they just go back to the calendar and find that? Well, remember the calendar is in another tab. It's somewhere totally different. And if we're trying to make this user friendly, the way that you would do that if you were on a website, you would expect to see pertinent information coupled together, right? So all I've done is I put the week 1 update, reminding them about what's due, and then I've copied and pasted. I did not take time typing it back out, okay? So it's just a written reminder, an audio visual reminder, and I think this works well for different types of learners. Most students really enjoy that. If I go down, you'll see that I have a little YouTube video that I use. It's just an introduction to what gender is and what it is not. And it was really my think tank, getting students thinking about what they were going to encounter in this course. That's all I asked them to do the first week. I'll give you a little snippet of what a weekly update sounds like.
Hi you all, and welcome to Weekly Update 1. This is Professor Harrington here. I wanted to provide you with your first weekly update to sort of give you a taste of what these are like and why a lot of students really love them. For a lot of students, weekly update is the way that they're able to sort of hear my voice and have me to remind them about weekly expectations and assignments. Now remember, I'm taking everything directly from your calendar. There is nothing that I'm sort of adding. If anything has changed, you will be notified via your weekly update, right? And of course, the emails that you receive from me throughout the semester. But the weekly updates, the places that you should come at the beginning of every week, preferably Sunday, to make sure that you're going to be on task for whatever the new week has for you in our gender studies course. So let's jump in. This week, I have you sort of being introduced to me and to the course. So we have a short presentation on Blackboard entitled, What is Gender? You're going to want to do that. Outside of that, of course, you need to view the syllabus and the calendar. How can you sort of know what expectations I have for you to pass this class if you don't know how to pass this class? So yes, you need to go on Blackboard and view the syllabus and view the calendar.
Okay, so that's a weekly update. That's week 1. I will take you back again and show you what these look like. I will take you to week 4, which has a lot more. This is the week that my students are currently tackling with. Notice I have week 4 update, right? A different visual. Of course, the audio is totally different. Notice how long this one is, you all. 1 minute and a second. That's how long it took me to explain what needs to be done this week. So those of you that are a little bit anxious about it taking more of your time to represent yourself, your ethos, your personality, but create a user-friendly course, it really does not. 1 minute it took me, and I promise you I didn't start as soon as I, pressed record, so it probably took me like 55 seconds, right? It really does not have to take long at all. Again, I copied the blurb that's from the calendar. I've gone into the articles that students are reviewing this week. My quiz is there under the same tab, the same folder, right? User friendly, and then journal experience 3. Now notice what's happening here. This is exactly why I told you to think about accessibility. If for some reason you ever come into this this medium and you don't see the video embedded, which I've embedded, this is why you provide a link for students, right? Think about how many emails you would receive if you just uploaded the video and didn't provide that web link, okay? So keep thinking about that. Remember, those articles are there, but they are ghosted out, so students can't see that. It's just really for me. I will take you now to Voicethread. So I told you I provide YouTube as a way of establishing community with students so that they can see my face and sort of understand who I am as their instructor. But I use Voicethread for students to interact with one another. And I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So if I took you to my Voicethread site, you will see, I'm gonna scroll from the bottom up, you will see all of their weekly updates pre-recorded. Okay, so this isn't YouTube where I have to be dolled up, okay? I could have on sweatpants. They don't even know it, right? It's not about my presentation here. This one is about presenting the information. Now notice, after all of my weekly updates, now I get into where students have submitted their responses to me. This is what I mean by building community. So instead of just having a name or a student ID number, I now have students speaking to me. So you'll see a few students here talking about their experiences in gender studies. I'm getting them to ask a very uncomfortable question pertaining to gender to a family member or a friend. This week, they had to pull that person on screen with them and ask live and in person, right? It can't be rehearsed or pre-discussed. And I want to see, and their classmates will see, how people think about gender. Now, the reason that I do it, it's all really based on my student learning objectives. I want them to see that a lot of times there's an ignorance or there are biases associated with gender. And when you don't know, you really don't know how to respond to certain questions. And I want them to see that sometimes the people that you love the most can be a little bit insensitive. Doesn't mean that you don't love them, but it's a teachable moment, right? As you learn more about gender and how gender affects people, you can help to educate others, right? So I make them ask questions to family members and even strangers. When I had the physical class, my students would walk around the campus and ask questions. If any of you have ever been asked, I apologize, but they really, they take it seriously. So I will play this week's journal question, and then I will play a student's response. We'll see what you guys think. Here we go. Notice I have 3 students that have already responded. You see how Voicethread does that for me? Lets me know that I have 3 responses that I could grade.
Again, you guys, it's Professor H here, coming at you with your journal experience number 3. This week, I hope you enjoyed your articles pertaining to toddler age or school age children. Remember, anywhere from about age 2 to about age 12, that, block of time is sort of what your articles in your introduction was trying to get you to become a little bit more knowledgeable about. Now that you understand how gender affects toddlers and school age children a little bit more, let's jump into our journal experience for this week. Before I give you the question, I want to give you a second or two to gather a writing utensil, something to write on, right? Something to write with is a writing utensil, something to write on. That'll be helpful to you. But I want to stop for a second so that you can read the caption that's in front of you. I'll give you just a second.
Remember, Voicethread allows me to be really multimodal, so I'll pause for a second so that you can read the caption, and I'll play a few more seconds. I can be very multimodal, I have a visual, but I'm also talking. But notice, I'm never talking while I'm, alerting them to a visual. Right? Now, I thought this caption was perfect for this week because I'm asking them about the differences between sons and daughters. So you'll see in just a second, I'm going to pick it back up. You'll hear me pausing. I'm pausing to allow them to read, right? You never, change or shift someone's attention, right? So if I'm talking to you, I expect you to listen. That's what most students are doing. If I'm telling you to look at a visual, I should not be talking over that, right? All right, so you should hear me pause here.
Mm-hmm. So what do you see happening in this caption? Notice the person that seems to be the father figure, we don't know if that's her father or not, seems to be scolding someone of a female gender, I think. Okay, seems to be the illustration. Now, notice what this father figure is telling this young female figure. You're not like your brother. You guys are different. You should know that you're different, and I'm going to treat you differently. That's exactly what this week's journal question is. But now we're getting into the good stuff, where I'm going to ask you to get someone that will be comfortable sitting with you and sort of documenting their response. Now, here's the catch. You are not allowed to share this question beforehand. What you are allowed to do is to get anyone that you'd like, a roommate, a classmate, a friend, a brother, a sister, an aunt, uncle, a parent. It doesn't matter to me who the person is to you. Could it be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband, your wife? That doesn't matter to me. Pick one person this week. One person. Your task. Do not share this question ahead of time. You can give them a disclaimer and say, hey, I'm taking a gender studies course with Professor Harrington, and you know, my professor's crazy. I need to record your response so that my classmates can see what you think, because people are gonna have to sort of respond to what we're doing. Make sure they say sure. And then I want you to sit down in front of your recording device. For me, that's my MacBook. For you, that could be whatever you like. Remember, you're gonna have to sort of use the Voicethread instructions to upload your little blog post to this, okay? I want you to sit that person down and you're gonna get their verbal permission. So you should start your video by saying, hey, this is so-and-so, and I'm sitting here with my interviewee, okay? They don't have to use their name if they don't want to. Then you can say, hey, do I have your permission to ask you a question and to document it for my gender studies class? We should be able to hear them say yes or yeah. And the two responses I'll take, right? Maybe won't work because that means you coerce them, okay? We need a yes or a yeah. Something along those two lines will work perfectly. Once you sort of ask them off camera, they said, oh, of course. You sat them down, you prepared what they have to say. Remember, we're gonna respond to it. Once they're done, you have one follow-up question. It's very simple. Ask that question. The parents, two of them are gonna respond, well, should society treat boys and girls differently? Are there different ways that society should treat them? And see if your respondent sort of starts talking about, well, we do treat them differently, or no, I don't think we do. Let them come up with a few examples. You can even ask them, can you provide me with an example? Remember your minimum in terms of this assignment, in terms of your time limitations.
Okay, so what I hope you got from that is that I'm using a visual to sort of spark the topic of conversation. I'm walking them into my instructions, what I expect from them. I'm alerting them back to the rubric that's posted on Blackboard, right? There is a rubric listed for these journaling experiences. And then I'm telling them, okay, once you're done with this, I'd love for you to post it for this week's work. Remember, you are also to come back and comment on another classmate's post. That is how I intend to create community within my course. I no longer have the option of having a peer group where students are able to sort of group themselves based on similarities or dissimilarities, right? And converse about the topics. I have all of them really anonymously in this online setting. So I make them post, and you'll notice that this student posted twice because she didn't have her picture first, and she knows that's not okay. She came back and posted her photo, and then she did her commentary again. So again, building a sense of community around what students look like and their experiences in terms of journaling. Again, you'll see that I have multiples here, but then you see that there are students that have started to respond already. So Journal 2, Journal 3 already has 3 respondents, and it is not due until Friday evening by 11:59, so they still have a great deal of time. I will click off this, I will click off of this, and I will take you back here. Now, I just mentioned the rubrics. Remember, it's not about you and how much time it takes you to come up with the rubric. It's about the student and allowing them to effectively produce a document, whatever document or assessment you have in mind. So I did come up with rubrics ahead of time for everything that they do in our class, from their journals, which I just showed you, to an oral presentation that they're going to do via Voicethread about week 9 or week 10, and then their research activism paper, which is a really short paper and has to pertain to some sort of gender inequality issue, and that's not due until final exams. So all of those rubrics have been pre-posted, and they're all directly related to student learning objectives. If I scroll down, notice, of course, I have their grades available. Again, I have accessibility web links for any students that might have a disability unknown to me. I've provided web links that will help them in their quest of understanding. So there's an accessibility web link for Blackboard, for YouTube, for Voicethread, for Google products, for Microsoft Office. Everything that I intend for them to use, I've provided help for them, because I don't even attempt to be the expert in that. So we found those things and we posted it. Again, something that I received from OCDP, which I didn't initially think of, which was really helpful. Notice again, I have my professor information, right? The same contact information that you said, why would you put it there? I placed it here again. It might be intuitive for a student to go to professor information, so you place it here for the user, right? I've done a quick bio for students, as well as my current office hours, email, and even office phone. A new addition is something that a lot of students now really love. And it's the information about the library and the information that they offer for DE students, knowing that they are someone in the library that they can go and ask specific questions about their DE instruction. So I posted Dr. Orr's information. I posted the web link for the library services, right, like interlibrary loans and things like that. That information may be helpful to them in the long term. On the very bottom, the very last thing that you see is a link to distance learning here at USI. And if I scroll down, you'll see all of the system requirements, right, online communication, a help desk, all of these things that students will need at some point or another. I'm just providing it within the Blackboard course site because, again, if you were using a site, you would expect those things to be embedded as well. So I'm going to take you back to the very beginning. I believe that I've covered, for the most part, everything that I offer in terms of bridging the gap between the communication and the sense of community that's found in a physical classroom, and how I try to really mirror that, not replicate, but mirror it in the distance education courses that I teach. Just as one example, every semester I work really hard at trying to become better at proctoring a course online. So this might not look the same in another semester or so, but as of right now, these are the things that I enjoy doing for my students. I'd like to stop and allow Susanna to come up and prepare. And as she's preparing, if you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. How do you know if your student watch your videos?
Well, YouTube tracks views.
Okay.
It does, and I love YouTube in that I can make my commentary private, so I disable the option for comments. I learned a long time ago when I was teaching at Auburn, right, fresh out of grad school, that when you allow the comments to stay open, you get some really obnoxious comments, like roll tide, like when are you available for a date? And you don't necessarily want that underneath your videos.
Right.
So you disable those things, and that way all students are getting is your face and the mini lecture or the discussion or whatever you're doing. So I love YouTube for that reason. It tracks my views, but I also know when students don't watch the video when they're asking questions later on in the week. The videos are quick, they're simple, they're to the point, but if you come back and you ask a question, you say, well, I didn't see that journal discussion that you said we had this week, and I'll go back and I'll say, I need you to rewatch the weekly update. Oh, I missed that email Sunday, you're right. And they'll go back and find it in their email. Remember, I'm emailing them, but I'm also posting it on Blackboard, so it's simple for me. I go to the email tool, I highlight the link for the weekly update, I drop it, I say all weekly update 5 is posted, have a great Sunday. It takes me really no time to do it, but students really enjoy it. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the closed captioning on YouTube videos. Do you monitor that for accuracy?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And my accent is terrible. So a lot of times I find myself trying to go in and sort of correct some of the things that it thinks that I'm saying, and it has a moderation tool. So once you make a YouTube channel, you can moderate your own captioning. So once you make the 3-minute video, you can go back and look at the captioning yourself and say, no, I want to suggest a different term here, a different phrase here, and it'll allow you to do that. For the most part, I may have to change 3 or 4 words every video. Again, probably because of my accent and how far I am away from my MacBook, right? Maybe 3 or 4 words every time I upload a video. It's not where I'm, listening to the video and typing out every word. It's really great with that. And YouTube also allows you to be full screen. If you have a student that's visually impaired, it can go as full screen as the student needs. The student can zoom in and zoom out. I'm just telling you, I've used it several times to pull up a whiteboard and show something, write out something, and students can zoom in and zoom out as they need to. And it's really helpful. Anything else that I may answer?
What do you use to record your YouTube videos? Are you using just the record function within YouTube?
Yes, I enjoy it. So on my MacBook, I have, of course, your webcam, just like they have the webcam set up here, right? You go onto YouTube and it's a capture function. You press capture and it will record right there. You won't have to do any editing. Now, I prefer to do editing because, again, I'm verbose, I like to talk. So I prefer to do my own editing, but if you'd like to capture it live, YouTube does that as well.
How do you edit it? Through YouTube or
Yes, I edit through iMovie on the MacBook, and it comes free with your MacBook. If you have a Dell, they have a movie feature that comes free. The bookstore here at USI offers all of those software bundles with, you know, monthly payments. So if you feel as though it's too expensive, they can separate it per month. You know, a $70 piece of software can be separated in 10 monthly payments, if that's something that you're interested in.
And now the computer in this room has editing software,
Yes,
very
they do.
easy to use, so you don't have to
Yes, they do.
purchase.
And YouTube has an editor too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Any other questions that I might answer for you? Sure.
What are your due dates are on Friday?
No. Yes and no, I should say. So we start our week on Sunday and we end our weeks on Sunday. The journals are always due on Friday because students are finishing a quiz or some other assignment by that following Sunday. Does that make sense? So
Okay.
instead of making every assignment due on Sunday, I sort of stare some of the assignments, right?
Okay.
So one is due on Friday and then you have another 2 days to finish the last assignment.
Okay. Oh, one more question.
Sure.
Sorry.
You're fine.
With Voicethread, are the students commenting on your Voicethread or are they creating a new Voicethread? And how do you keep that from clogging up your Voicethread homepage? Like I can already see with the new version of Voicethread, I've got 25 Voicethreads. I mean, by 2 semesters from now, I'm gonna have 200 student Voicethreads on my page
Sure.
that I can't delete because I'm not the owner.
Sure. We can collaborate these into folders on Voicethread. So these can be added into a folder that says Gender Studies Fall 2015, and it can stay
Okay.
there as long as I want it, right?
Okay.
Or groups, correct. Now, I do have, the one that I showed you, I do have students that comment, a lot of them actually comment on top of my video. So notice this one had 15 students that commented on top of that video, right? Then you saw the others where students wanted to post theirs individually. That's perfectly okay. All it does is it tags the student's commentary on the very end of whatever your discussion was. So the yellow is a different student's post. And that's easy, but when they decide that they want to post it individually, my plan is to create a folder at the end of the semester and just move.
Plop them all.
Exactly. That way you always have them. You never know when that merit and tenure comes up, you might want to show that. Is there anything else that I maybe didn't answer?
That's with the video, do you find the students are maybe a little more engaged where they don't wait until the last minute and they'll check earlier than, for the video instruction versus the text instruction? Have you been able to note a difference?
Definitely so. I think because I'm sending it on Sunday at noon, they start thinking about the week ahead of time instead of expecting, I can wait until Monday night to start. Well, you can't wait until Monday night because you have an assignment due Friday. Does that make sense? So sending it on Sunday at noon really helps those type A students to start early. And then the type B students get really nervous when they go, okay, well, I just got a reminder about what's due this week. I probably shouldn't wait until the last minute, and they sort of start catching up. So in the long run, as you see with this one, 15 students had their responses posted by Thursday night. It wasn't due until Friday. So I'm expecting within the next few hours to have another set of 15 students on their new journal response. Very rarely do I have students that wait until the last minute. When they've gotten a response, a reminder on Sunday, they've gone onto Blackboard and seen, all these things are due on Monday, they are normally pretty punctual. Now don't shoot me, there's always one bad apple, but for the most part, they're always pretty punctual. Any other questions? Thank you guys. You need this, Susanna? Blackboard?
No, I don't need Blackboard. I'm venturing into President.
In German.
In German.
No less.
Yeah, don't ever start with a foreign language, it won't go away anymore. I'm Susanna Hoeness-Krupsaw. I'm a colleague of Xavia's. I teach English and Humanities. And at some point, Megan asked me to do part 2 of Bridging the Gap. So after Xavia's excellent presentation, I have very little wisdom to add to this. Maybe I'm just bridging the gap between an expertise in applying these kinds of connecting tools with how you actually get there. Until Xavia spoke to us in our OCDP class last summer, I had been using Voicethread to reach out to students. All the research indicates that online students learn best if they have interactions with each other, but also with faculty. They may not necessarily want it, but I think that, if we just look at the statistics and if we look at the articles that are out there, they really do benefit from these interactions. So after Xavia showed us how she does it, I thought maybe I could try that too. Until that point, I had thought only young, cool people have YouTube channels. So I didn't even think that this was within my reach. But it is really simpler than you may think. All you need is a Google account. And I actually had that. So it was really just like taking a boat, and then as Xavia indicated, you don't even need any fancy equipment. YouTube has a recording function, and you just kind of click on it, and it is intuitive enough. I didn't have to watch a ton of tutorials. I just really did it. Strangely enough, it actually did work. If you've never tried all the stuff there is with your Google account, depending on what you have used in the past, some icons come up when you click on this little dotted square, and then there is more. So the YouTube may not initially show up, but if you click on more, you will eventually see this. And then all you do is click on YouTube. And you didn't even know it, you have a channel, and you can give it art. And then you click on channel and video, and then there is an upload button at the top. And when you click on this, it gives you all these options. All kinds of fancy stuff can be done here. You can upload files that you may have recorded already, or you can just hit record and do the webcam capture. And then it starts pretty quickly, so you know how you're always not prepared for that? And I guess if you really accomplish, that's when you do your editing. But maybe the kids like seeing a stupid teacher. I have no idea. I'm getting better at bracing myself before it actually begins. And then, you know, I may be a little bit anal in that too. I like to have a list of things I want to remind them of. And since I realized when I have that on my lap or in my hand, I'm not facing the camera, I'm now either holding it up or actually taping it to the computer screen so that I'm looking into the camera so that it looks like I'm having a presentation with them. But this is really simple. And then, you know, it does a little bit of saving after you're done. And then you can share it. And this is nice too. You don't have to have it at the public setting. You can have it completely private, or you can have it unlisted. And in the unlisted case, you just send your students the URL, and then they click on that, and the rest of the world will not necessarily see you chewing or, you know, whatever else you didn't want them to see. So that's entirely within my reach. And what I learned last summer too is that if this YouTube work is something that is amenable to you, you can also use our Zoom account and record something and then upload that to YouTube, because that permits a screen sharing that YouTube alone doesn't have. And that is also simple. Initially, I didn't find where my Zoom recordings had been stored, but after I got over that difficulty, it actually was not complicated at all. I'm not sure I would always want to use YouTube rather than Voicethread. There are different uses, and eventually you figure out what's working best for which function. But in the beginning of a semester, to reach out to online students, and I've actually done it to my face-to-face students this semester as well, before they ever start using Voicethread or even have found your Blackboard site. If you already surprise them with a YouTube video, that may be a novel experience for them. Look, this is what my teacher looks like. She isn't as scary as I thought. She has a weird last name, but this is how you pronounce it, and this is where you find her. It creates a good chemistry, I think, for the beginning of the semester. And we do have new students who have just come here. Maybe on their campus they use Moodle or some other learning management system, and they may not have gotten familiar with our technology yet, but I bet each one of them knows how to click on a YouTube video. So that may just be the device to bridge that gap. And it may not seem like such a big deal, but you have established a connection. And it doesn't work for all of our students. Some think that's really stupid. She should get out of my hair. But I think a lot of them do appreciate this. And we're also dealing now with a generation of students who have been supervised a lot. Some of them have helicopter parents who have managed everything. So if there is a teacher breathing over their shoulder, even if it's the YouTube shoulder, it may help them in some way. In some of the articles that I've come across, the experts also point out that many students, even when we don't realize it, face different kinds of barriers. An administrative barrier may simply be that they haven't quite figured out how a university works and what they have to do for a class. And they may not even have been able to find the syllabus link for whatever reason. So if that could be emailed to them perhaps, or if in a YouTube video you have pointed out to them, perhaps with a quick screenshot where this can be found, that might be helpful. Some are simply not that sociable. So if you can suggest in your quick video introduction via YouTube that maybe Google Hangouts will be used later on, or that maybe there is a Skyping possibility, or that you have Zoom office hours. Again, you may be assisting them in overcoming a barrier. And then I think for many of our students, the barriers are motivational. So the personalized emails, the YouTube videos, this kind of outreach, even when it's as banal as the Blackboard performance update, may be helpful in the end. In one article I came across, it was suggested that we have online tea time with them, and I'm not quite sure I would go there. The article suggested to actually in snail mail send them a tea bag so that they can brew a cup of tea when you meet them in the online tea time. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. I haven't tried it.
That's so sweet though.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah,
our students, not our friends.
But would you like to receive a cup of tea?
No.
If you are simply not the recording type, and I never thought I would be, so I have surprised myself, there are just really cool gadgets that you can play with. So you could, if you own an iPad or an iPhone, create a telegami. This does not work on the regular PC. At telegami.com. It is free, and it allows you to create an animated character that speaks in your voice, and you can actually set the background. If you're willing to pay money into the app store, you can actually purchase better clothing for her. Whatever motivates you to do your best work, if that works for you, then you can send students a link to this telegami, and the telegami talks with them, just to mix things up a little bit. Maybe they're really surprised that they have an elderly instructor who likes animated figures, I don't know. Soundboard is really cool too. It's just a voice recording, totally intuitive, and it's really helped Dr. Kearns after he broke his arm last year. I pointed out to him that he could record comments and attach them to his papers. Or, if you feel that sometimes an email looks a little harsh and you want them to hear your voice, the SoundCloud recordings can also be embedded and shared via email. And if telegami is just, too advanced, there is Voki, and it works on computers, it works on iPads, and it's totally free, and does just something like a portrait animation, and you can choose from different characters and avatars and
Are they
clothing
all human, or can you choose animals?
I think Voki may have an animal. I'm not sure. You like a cat.
Yeah.
There may be another site for those characters. I'm not sure.
Blabberize, blabbersize,
Yeah.
one of those, and
Yeah.
you can have some
You can
kind
put
of,
pictures there and somehow and tell them where the mouth is on the picture.
and it makes them
And you
out.
talk, they will animate the movement.
That would be weird though.
Well, it's actually cool.
No, to have my cats talking,
Oh.
that would be
While your students are drinking the tea bag.
You can have the cat talk. So give it a try. It really really helps, I think, in our various forms of outreach to our students. And I'm finding that whenever I get a little bored with something, it motivates me to just simply try something else and keep the teaching fresh in that way. Thank you very much.
Oh, any questions of Xavia and Susanna?
Have you, either of you, ever tried responding to your students on the voice threads they created orally? Like adding your comments to their voice threads?
Yes.
Do you do that?
I have not had my students create their own voice threads, so I haven't done this.
Okay.
So the ones that I showed you where students were
Uh-huh.
posting their individuals, if you go back in, there's a little sphere on the
Well,
bottom.
I know how to do it, I just haven't done
Oh
it.
yeah, it's easy as pie.
Because I just listened to all their VoiceThread projects, and I was grading with a rubric and making typed comments on the rubric. And I thought, after I'd done about 6 out of 27, I thought, oh, why didn't I just make comments on there? It would have been so much faster, and I still could have clicked the scores on the rubric,
Exactly.
but instead of typing all my comments, but then I thought, I don't know, are there pros or cons or
I think it's pretty
glitches?
It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I can use, if I'm not in the office, in front of a computer, I can use my cell phone to comment, and I can use the computer itself to do a capture of my voice to comment. So you don't necessarily have to be stagnant in your office to comment either. That mobility makes it a great grading tool for me for the journals.
Yeah, the app is really good. And you can organize your comments too now, so you can move your comments after your students' comment. That way, if the other students want to watch it, then they see their comment and then yours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
so
you
all the
can-
other students in the class would see my comment, would
Yeah.
have access to my
Oh,
comments.
no, you can hide it if you want to. You can hide your comments.
Joyce, what I've done in the past is I've actually just put up a single slide and created a new voice thread that was for a particular student.
Okay.
Recorded my comments on it, and in some cases, I actually put portions of their paper on there, so I could say, here's what,
This
here's
is
what I'm talking about. And then you just send that link only to that student,
Okay.
and open it up only to that student. And I haven't ever done that for an entire class, but when I had students whose papers were just too much for me to have to, you know, there were too many problems,
Right.
that's what I did.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Any other questions? I have oftentimes faculty raise this question, and that's why I was asking Xavia. How do you know if they watch your video, and how do you prompt them to do that? Because we know the high functioning student will always watch whatever you give it to them. They're so hungry to get stuff. But it's the low functioning student, you know, and we can't really prevent, and we can tell, you know, when they register to the class. But the thing is, how can we really, I guess that's part of the engagement. Do you want to share, or any one of you want to share your
On
feedback?
Blackboard, you can set up statistics tracking, and then you can run a report that will show you which students have logged on to the, whatever it is you're
Right.
generating the report on, and how many times they logged on, what days they logged
But will
on,
you
what.
be able to see the embedded video, like if they click on the video or not? Because you can see the page they visit, but in terms of the video.
Well, see, I just give them the link, I don't give them the embedded video, so I
Oh,
can
so if they
see,
click on the
they
link,
have to click
then-
on the link in order for it to register as
Okay.
having.
What I did before is not necessarily the video, but I created a Facebook group. Every time when I put any announcement or video or link, it will show me how many people have seen it. And then when I click on it, it tells me the names. But that's pretty much what I have experienced. I don't know if you guys have any special.
For the most part, I don't track views within Blackboard. I sort of assume that they know what their responsibilities are week to week, and you're either gonna, you know, meet these expectations or not. But I do track views on YouTube based on how many students I have enrolled in the course, how many people have viewed this.
But you only have a number, you don't know exactly who.
Precisely, exactly.
Right.
And then when I do open comments, I open comments intentionally so that students can ask questions. So in that way, students have their personal account and they can ask questions, which is why I've been using YouTube for one method of instruction and interaction, and Voicethread for a totally different one. So as you saw, that one student, she posted once, but she didn't have a picture, so she went back and posted again. I'm telling them you have to have a photo before you post or before you ask a question. I also have a Voicethread that's only for FAQs, or frequently asked questions, so that students can ask questions and then other students can respond, or I can go in and respond. I really enjoy it that way. The only motivating tip that I would give you all, if you're thinking about how do I get them to listen to it, remember, I guess I would say who's teaching whom here. Your audience is millennials for the most part, and you have about a 5 to 8 minute window to administer any sort of information. So what I normally do is I put a carrot somewhere in the video where I give them a tip or something that they wouldn't find in the calendar pertaining to that week. And it, for the most part, motivates them to keep in mind that I have to do these things this week. When I have students, I was mentioning when I was doing my presentation, when I have students that ask questions like, well, how many pages should this be? I'll say, oh, I mentioned that tip in the video. You should go and watch it. Right? So that's what I call a little carrot. You just dangle the carrot. So in the weekly update, I'm going to remind you of what your expectations are, but I'm going to give you a tip or a hint of something that will help you along this week.
Great feedback, great suggestion. Anybody have any other questions? Well, let's thank Susanna and Xavia for the great presentation. Thank you. We have